you may know me from the Jen Sheelan podcast. It is a knitting podcast, knitting, spinning, dyeing, designing podcast. And I am a chronic pain sufferer. So I had a segment in that podcast to talk about it, but I really wanted to broaden, my audience and really hit a bigger target audience if I could, because not all my knitters are chronic pain sufferers, and not all my chronic pain sufferers are knitters. So I'm like, well, this gives both the option to watch for people who are neither and don't suffer from chronic pain but want to learn more about it. Hopefully this can be a help and a guide. So really so why did I want to start this podcast is really, or talk about it more, is to educate, to relate, to give support to others who are like me and suffer from either the same thing or something like what I go through, and give people a chance to talk about it and learn more about it. So I'm hoping that's my goal. I'm hoping that's what I will accomplish with this podcast. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. Anything you would like me to talk about, any questions you have, I highly encourage them. Comment below and let me know what you think, or let me know what your questions are, and join me. Okay, so we're starting off. This is my first episode, and I'm calling it Spoon 1. If you are a spoonie, then you know what that means. If not, I will get into that and tell you what that means. I will start off with, I have central sensitization. What is central sensitization? It is very similar to like fibromyalgia and things like that. It's central pain syndrome. It's all in the same category. And basically what happens is the wires between the nerves between your brain and spinal cord get crossed. And my brain is constantly sending signals where, for example, if you get dressed in the morning, about 30 seconds after you're dressed, you forget that you're wearing clothes. You're just used to it. I don't. My body is constantly sending signals that I'm wearing clothes and that they're uncomfortable. So all day long that is happening. So even with yoga pants, I'm uncomfortable, and they can even be too tight. And they rub against my skin, which is very sensitive. You're basically sensitive to everything. You're sensitive to touch. You're extremely sensitive to pain, where you feel pain more intensely than others who don't suffer from this. Sights, light, sound, crowds, temperature, all of that. Smells, you're sensitive to all of those things. So that is central sensitization in a very little nutshell. There is a lot more to it, and you're sensitive to medications too. So I've tried all of the medications and gotten all of the side effects from them. Yay, it's good times. There is no real cure or fix for central sensitization, which is very hard for people to understand. They're like, but I don't understand, go to a different doctor. I'm like, it's not really how this works. Maybe someday there will be a doctor who will put more time into this condition and find something that will cure it, but there is no real cure at this time. There are things to help manage it. There are things to sort of help alleviate it, depending on the person. There's medications to try to help alleviate it. Of course, you deal with side effects. You just have to figure out which ones actually do help you, and if you're willing, you can deal with the side effects. Not if you're just willing to deal with the side effects, if you physically can. Light exercise, but you still have to force yourself to do it because it hurts. Things like that, and resting and just managing your days. That's what you do for it. Like I said, no cure, but ways to manage it. Kind of sucks. I mean, put it bluntly, it sucks. It really does. It's not a fun condition to have. Anybody dealing with pain all day, it's like you're carrying an extra 100 pounds on your shoulders, and just being upright. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. When you're in pain, you're thinking that much harder, and you're thinking through that, and your brain is exhausted, so you get brain fog, and it's just a lot to deal with. It's hard. So that's what it is, and how does it feel? I wrote down some little notes to try to touch on. It feels like a lot of different things, and really what it can stem from and did for me was a spinal injury. So I ruptured a disc 9 years ago now. And this doesn't necessarily happen right after the injury. Mine actually, it can occur a few years later, which it did for me. And a traumatic event or something like that, something very stressful, can trigger it, which happened to me. So, but once it happens, once that switch is flicked, there's no off switch. It's on now, and that's it. And so what happens is I have more pain at the rupture area, which is still a slight tear, than somebody else would. And it's kind of snowballed into pain from my lower waist and lower back down to my feet. Nobody can even touch my lower back with a feather-light touch. I feel it in my teeth. That's how sensitive I am. And, pressing into my lower back is a no-no. That's just a no. You can't do it. You'll send me through the ceiling. And I have dealt with various different issues. So skin sensitivity is one of them. The deep ache of the back pain. Sciatica has been a very big one, to the point where at the beginning of this year, it was so bad into my foot, I couldn't put any pressure on my foot. I was literally crawling around my house for like 3 weeks. Yeah, or using a walker to kind of hobble along to get around the house. But I was mostly crawling because that was just easier, because using the walker just messed up my back that much more and made that hurt worse. Not a lot of fun. Yeah. So I've been managing that to try to make sure that doesn't come back again. It's been a battle, to say the least. It's been tricky. So that is really just, a short way to describe it. I really can't fully, I don't think, describe what it feels like unless you experience it. It's very difficult to understand. Another reason I'm doing this podcast is it's very difficult for people who don't go through this to understand what it's like. They're like, well, I have pain, so I get it. No, you don't. That's not the case. Again, because somebody with my condition feels pain way more intensely and almost in a different way than somebody else does. If they stub their shin, they're like, ow. If I hit my shin, I hit the floor. And that pain will echo for up to hours. So it's much, much different. And yeah, it's definitely been something I've been battling now, the condition itself, for about 6 years. And it's been a very long journey. And the most important thing I have is a support system. I have an amazing husband who supports me. I have an amazing circle of friends and family who support me. Have I had people who don't get it and have come at me in a negative manner? Yeah. It's because they don't understand. And that sucks. You would hope with people who do know you and understand you, that won't happen. It still can. It's just the nature of the beast. That is this condition. Now, I touched on the spoon theory. So this was from a story from a girl with lupus, and I believe her website is But You Don't Look Sick. And she talks about, the spoon theory. She's out at a diner with her friend, and her friend wanted her to explain what it's like to, live a normal day dealing with lupus, which is also very similar in similar ways. Of course, lupus is more of it attacks your own organs sort of deal, but pain-wise, it's similar. So she goes, well, she picked up a bunch of spoons, and she goes, let me walk you through my day. I got out of bed, spoon. Or she told the girl to walk her through her day. That's how it went. She goes, walk me through your day. The girl's like, well, I got out of bed, spoon. I took a shower, 2 spoons. I had to get dressed, another spoon. And walked her through her day, and it might have been like 3 o'clock in her day, and she goes, but I hardly have any spoons left. And the girl's like, exactly. Spoons equal energy. It's how much you have for the day. And it's up to you to manage your day accordingly with the energy you have. And sometimes you have none. You may have not have done anything the day before or a few days before to cause you to be like that. It's just your body being like, nope, I got nothing today. It just happens. And if you push it, it's even worse. You pay for it. And what can happen to help you push through is adrenaline. Adrenaline is a funny thing where, I'll go to a friend's house for a party and I'll be like, whoa, yay, having a great time, and we're dancing, we're having a great time, and the adrenaline kicks in and it's almost like you feel nothing. And the next day you feel everything. And boy, do I pay hard for the days that I have where I enjoy myself, where I can actually enjoy myself. Now, the fact that I can have those days at all, I'm thankful for. And thankfully, I can at least have that adrenaline does help me get through some of those days. Even if I have to pay that much harder for them, at least it gets me through those moments so I can still have them. It's hard, and some days I can't. Some days adrenaline is just not enough. I push myself so hard where there is literally, I've got nothing left. The pain can build up and be so intense in my body where I literally feel like I'm gonna explode. And I've called it like a pain attack instead of a panic attack, where it builds up and builds up. That's happened to me with pain, where it has nowhere else to go. And you're just frantic from it. Like there's just nothing you can do. And the only thing keeping you going is sheer will. That has absolutely happened to me. And it is not fun, and there is nothing you can do. Short from even trying to just lay down and rest, it's just, you are so past done, there's nothing you can do. And that sucks. It's not really fun. No, I don't really like it. So now here, I am trying to be pretty upbeat and positive, and I actually just filmed my knitting episode, which definitely tends to make me more upbeat, more bubbly, and smiley and happy. And I do hope with these episodes that I can continue to do that. There may be some where I'm like, screw it, I don't feel good, but I'm still going to film today and show people what I really look like on a bad day. And you see me here and I'm smiling and happy, but here's a picture of me on a bad day. Yeah. Struggling through the pain. I've posted pictures like that. I'm not ashamed. I'm like, this is what it looks like on a really bad day. And that's okay. You really are gonna have those bad days, and that's all right. The hard part is the next day trying to get yourself going again. And that's another thing I'd like this podcast to do, is to help other people like me keep each other going. And that's one of the hard things to do, is to try to stay positive. And some days I throw a pity party, absolutely. But the next day I try to get out of it, or at least that within a couple days. Don't let myself stay down, because if I stay down, getting back up is that much harder. And by doing this, I'm hoping that it'll help us all keep each other upbeat and support each other and be there for one another. So, how's it affected my life? Whew. Well, I cannot hold a full-time job. I'm definitely not going into an office or anything like that. I worked in finance, and I can no longer go to an office and do that. I'm lucky right now where I have a part-time job where I can do it from home, but it is not a possibility anymore. I mean, me just trying to get up, shower, get dressed, get in the car with, I can commute with my husband, and get in the car for part of the time, then on the train for the second half of the ride, which is an hour, if not longer, commute, plus the long walk into our building, working, actually being in the building and being switched on and working. Switched on being you're socializing. You're not only just working, you're socializing. You're around people, you're around different sounds, you're in a different environment, you're in a different chair that's not as comfortable. All of those things. And then, when you're done, you're really cooked, and then it's time to leave. You have to take that commute home, which is even harder because of all the rush hour traffic. And it's a full train, and maybe you have to stand, and then sitting in the car ride in traffic to get home. I am cooked for a week. I've done this before for the part-time job. I'll go in occasionally. And after that, the rest of the week, pretty much, I'm done. Just after that one part day of going in. Cooked. Can't even do it. It's brutal. As for my husband, he's been incredible and amazing and supportive. And I'm sure he gets plenty frustrated. The poor guy comes home at the end of the day, and that's my worst time of day. I've been upright most of the day if I haven't laid down all day. Just being upright is exhausting for me. Even though I'm not socializing or talking to people most of those days, it's just exhausting for me to be upright. Yeah. And he comes home, and he comes home to the broken me. He comes home to the me that's at my worst, and that stinks. And a lot of the times I don't have makeup on my face, I'm wearing my pajamas and haven't done my hair or anything. Like, it's just, I'm a disaster. This poor guy, and he still supports me and is there for me and loves me. I mean, hello, lucky me. Thankful for that every single day. as for the, you know, my friends and family, like, again, my majority have been, of my circle has been, like, my circle doesn't doubt me. My circle really is very supportive and understanding, and they may not truly know what it's like for me to go through what I'm going through, but they understand me. If I say, you know, I'm sorry, I have to cancel plans, or even if it's last minute, or if they see me dancing on the dance floor a little bit and they're like, wow, she's having a good night, and are happy for me. Or if I'm having a really bad pain day and I'm not myself, I'm not my smiley self, or I'm snippy, or I'm a little frantic, or whatever, they get it. You know, one of my closest friends has seen me screaming out in pain as she was trying to help Frank get me in the house. Like, that's, I think, when it hit her really the closest, is when she was like, whoa. But I had forced myself to go out that night because I had been trapped in the house. This is going through the sciatica thing with my foot. And I was insistent. I was like, I'm going out. I've been trapped in the house. I'm absolutely going to do it. I made myself do it. If anything, she was proud of me. She's like, damn, you were a rock star. You still did it, knowing you were going to pay for it like this. Like, you know, you don't get much stronger than that. And that's pretty incredible. So yeah, you know, we might have a chronic pain condition, but you're actually really strong because you're still going at it every single day. And that's incredible. Right? Like, hello, we're actually really, really super strong. And that's amazing. But yeah, so with how else it's affected my life, I mean, I've had people who have not believed me. I've had people talk behind my back and say I'm faking it. I've hesitated to get a handicap sticker for my car because I'm afraid of a note being left in my car if somebody sees me and thinks, one, I'm too young, or, you know, I don't look sick because I have an invisible disability. And I dread coming back to an nasty-gram in my car. So I've avoided getting a sticker. Now, would I use it all the time or abuse it? No. I would use it when I need it, but I still hesitate to do it. And every now and then I need to use a cane. And I've had that used against me, where I've used a cane and it's like, you don't need a cane, you're too young, or you're seeking attention. I mean, trust me, I want to do anything but use that cane, and I don't use it unless I absolutely need to. And I hate using it because I don't want attention brought to me. And it's frustrating, but sometimes I need to use it, and I just kind of have to swallow my pride and be like, hey, I need this today. Or my walking stick. I'll call it a walking stick instead of a cane. It sounds a little schnazzier like that. But yeah, things like that. So I've had very positive things happen to me with it, and I've had very awful negative things happen to me with this, and that comes with the territory, unfortunately. People just don't understand. And when they really don't, they can take it to a really negative place, and that happens. But you power through, and you don't listen to them. Don't let them get in your head, and stick with the people who support you. A very strong support system is the most important thing. And I do have that as one of my notes. I do. Having a strong support system and surrounding yourself with people who support you is so important. Because that's what does help you stay positive. That's what does help keep you going. That's what does, like, just having people who believe you is so important. I can't stress that enough. And to deal with you with things like when you have a bad pain flare. You know, I've been getting this year has been really rough for me with that, where I just constantly keep getting pain flares and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Sometimes I do. I know I'm pushing it. But others, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'll rest a whole lot and I'll still be in a flare. And then I know if I try to walk a little bit more and exercise a little bit more, and I'm still in a flare. Like, geez, what am I doing wrong? I don't understand. And they deal with the brain fog. And brain fog is, oh my God. Because like I said, your brain is constantly working and in hyperdrive, and it's constantly sending these signals saying you're in pain when you shouldn't be, that it's exhausted. So I'll go to try to think of a word. Funny story, while I was setting up to film both these episodes, and this podcast and the knitting one, which I'm going to pay for seriously after I'm done, but it's so worth it, as I was setting up, I have lights set up, and I was like, oh, don't forget to put the lightning bolt in. Meant light bulb. I was thinking this in my head, but literally thought the words lightning bolt in my head, not light bulb. I'm like, wow. okay, brain fog, it is a thing. And I'll like, my husband will ask me, where's the such and such? And I'll be like, it's in the place below the thing in the whatchamacallit. Like, I cannot think of the word or how to describe the place. And it's just like, you can't control that. It's so frustrating when you can't think of a word, and it's very, very frustrating to deal with brain fog. I don't even, no. But anywho, that is, I think, where I'm going to probably end my first episode. Was just, I really wanted to give a brief touch on the condition I'm dealing with and why I'm filming this and what I hope to achieve with it. And leave this open to any questions. You know, do you have any questions about central sensitization, or should I have touched more on what it feels like, or how it feels, or how it affects me? I'm curious to know questions, whether you're a chronic pain sufferer or not. I really, would hope this feedback will help me filming going forward, and that would be amazing. So help me help everybody out there who's, like I said, either suffering from this condition, from a condition similar to it, or who isn't and wants to learn more. So if you're one like me and wants to help educate your friends and your family, I'm hoping this will be the way to do it. So thank you guys for tuning in and joining me, and join me for Spoon 2, which I will hopefully film in the near future. We'll see how it goes with all the pain flares I've been dealing with. But thank you again for joining me. Bye, guys.